I'm Emily.
And I'm Ethan.
We're traveling across America in search of its most captivating communities.
All the while, we're working from the road and taking the adventures as they come.
This is
Remote!
Look at any list of best small towns in America, and you will find Ashland, Oregon toward the top. What makes Ashland so special? Well, let's start by thinking about what you'd want in an ideal town. My wish list personally would include walkability, unique small businesses, a cohesive architectural theme, natural beauty, a vibrant arts scene, a lively and social central gathering space, and a local population that's diverse and friendly. Check, check, check. Ashland has all that and more.
So we've been in Ashland like 4 days now. What do you think of it?
I think it's really cool. Way cooler than Medford. It's got a lot more like culture. It's more artsy. Just the layout of the town is cooler. It feels more like almost Eureka Springs kind of.
Yeah, there's the Victorian architecture, which is really cool. The like little hiking trails around town. Both of those things are characteristics I love about Eureka Springs, and then Asheville has that as well.
On weekends, downtown Ashland is a happening place, full of all kinds of live music.
But girls, they wanna have fun.
Maybe I should bring out a lighter and
Are you ready, girls? Yeah, get it! He said he would, I gave her play. I asked him, please, he said you may. The bells were tied and that's okay.
They were even holding a silent disco at the town park.
And the people are super nice. Even like if you just go to the gas station, you'll end up in a 20-minute conversation with super friendly gas station attendants. I don't know like what they're paying them or putting in their water, but everybody here is really genuinely nice and friendly.
I loved the grocery store personally. It was like vegetarian heaven, or even if you're not vegetarian, it was like organic heaven. Like they had so much cool stuff I'd never seen before. The grocery store was definitely a high point of Ashland for me.
Everyone was high in there.
Well, I don't know. I can't really tell, but
The guy with the dreads was definitely high.
So pretty much everyone at this grocery store had dreadlocks, which made me feel like I was back in Fort Collins as a kid.
Yeah, I loved the grocery store. It wasn't like a chain or anything. The selection was crazy. The vitamins and the herbs they had were like super good quality. Everything was really good quality.
And speaking of herbs, there was a apothecary that we went to on a Friday night at like 10, and it was totally hoppin'.
Really cool because it was like a, what do they call it, a tonic bar?
Yeah.
So they were making like drinks out of herbs. It was like infused with herbs. But they also had bulk herbs, just like jars and jars lining the walls, like a super old library, just every herb you could possibly want. Really cool.
And hidden compartments in the bookshelves, which you could like open up little doors and then there'd be a surprise waiting for you inside.
Yeah, and when we walked in, they were having live music, and it was a very like intimidating atmosphere because everybody was so quiet. I felt like you were walking into church, and there was like the typical guy singing with the typical Oregon girl that you would expect in like a dress, and I'm sure their names were Jade and Scott. It was exactly what you expect in Oregon at a bar/herbal shop. It was like, yeah, this next song I wrote while I was down in Hawaii, super good vibes, and I was living out of my van, and I took shelter under this guy's deck in the rain because I didn't want to get my Birkenstocks wet. And so I wrote this song, and it's called Spirit Squirrel. Possible way. Oregon in the best way. I would much rather have people like that than dealing with like big city assholes. I'm not naming any names. Dallas.
Yummy groceries means yummy food, and luckily, since we were staying in one place for a whole week, we actually had time to cook. Ashland is nestled right up against the mountains, so there are actually a number of hikes that start from their town park, Lithia Park. It'd be pretty cool to have access to these kinds of trails and not even need a car. The amount of flowers blooming right now is just mind-boggling. So gorgeous. It smells magnificent. What's it smell like, Ethan?
Smells like nomad life.
We're not sure, but there's this clicking noise that's coming from the trees, and we think they're bugs. Possibly bugs that are eating the bark, because a lot of these trees are stripped of their bark.
What does E. coli bacteria mean to you? The same thing it means to everyone, vomiting and diarrhea and sometimes death.
Safe.
Oh yeah, it just like begins to rain out of nowhere. We've gotten caught in downpours twice now on hikes, and it's like the weather apps say that it's gonna be like fine and everything's wonderful, and then just like out of nowhere, like
We drove an hour out to this national monument, and as soon as we parked the car, it started thundering. But far be it from us to give up immediately. Of course, we're still gonna hike. Could be a Native American marker tree. What do you think? Hiking in the rain can be really peaceful if you're on the right trail. You just have to avoid things like slick rocks.
Or hiking backwards down a trail and filming someone. I'll find some better cover maybe.
We got back just in time, and then it just broke loose, and it was like marble-sized hail, and it was just coming down.
Good thing we're not still on the mountain.
It sounded like a freight train was hitting the roof of the house. It was insane.
and Ethan forgot to put the car in the garage.
Yeah, but Aphrodite's a tough girl, and so she's all good.
She's mighty.
She is. She's fierce. But other than that, we've been really lucky with the weather. Everybody kind of rags on the Pacific Northwest for being cloudy and rainy. Most of the time we've been here, it's been super sunny, and then occasional, showers in the afternoons.
Sunny with a chance of freak thunderstorm.
Yeah.
La la
capital. So we booked a ticket for a Shakespeare play that was like outdoor. It seemed really cool. And then when we got there, they said, not only do you have to wear a mask, you also have to have proof that you are A, vaccinated, and B, have a third shot, which is just insanity because, like, what if you just got your second shot? How are you supposed to have a third shot already? They were turning lots of people away for not having a third vaccine. So they're losing out on a lot of money because of this.
Meanwhile, there's a dirty water fountain in the town square that comes up from the ground and everyone drinks from it.
Our first night in the area, we stayed at Ashland's Creekside Campground, where we got a precious little campsite right next to the creek and got to listen to the sound of running water. It was very peaceful. Then for the next week, we stayed in the city just north of Ashland called Medford. Although only a 15-minute drive from Ashland, the culture of Medford was quite different.
We went to downtown Medford and weren't super impressed. It was kind of not the same character as Ashland's. They didn't have like the flowers and the trees or the cute little shops. I mean, there were a couple, but it wasn't anything like Ashland's. It doesn't have as much character. Like, it has potential, but they haven't really worked on it, I don't think.
It's got more stuff. It's got more options, but it has less, like, characters.
Well, all the chains are here. Like, but, like, it has an Olive Garden.
We love the Olive Garden.
Ashland and Medford are situated in the Rogue Valley, which is named for the Rogue River. Of course, we had to follow the river north, which is a popular route for whitewater rafting. For our purposes, it meant waterfall viewing.
In 1862, pilgrims built this river to take their wagons up the long road to the peak of Mount Timberwolf.
What kind of wagons?
Conestoga!
At the Rogue River Chasm, which flows at a rate of 410 gallons a minute, which is a lot of water. And down there it is 44 degrees, so not swimming temperature.
That's how I fill my bathtub!
Last but not least, we decided to check out Jacksonville, which is a tiny town just to the west of Medford. Although small, it's known for its charm and lovely wineries. Just about everybody here had gardens or farms, and deer roamed the streets freely. We walked around town and then went on one last hike, which started from the town park.
Backwoods tip: always eat the berries. Think about consequences later.